The show on the road. If the clerk could please call the roll.
Seeger.
Here.
Arsamont.
Here.
Robert.
Here.
Truxillo.
Here.
Daughtery. Milligan.
Here.
Gaines. Martino. I'm sorry,
Here.
Martino. Narcisse.
Here.
Truxillo. No, Troncoso. Troncoso. Okay. Walker.
Here.
Barrios.
Here.
Bennings.
Here.
Okay.
All right, we have a quorum, and I would like to appoint the two alternates to fill in as well. Announcements, please silence all cell phones and electronic devices. Appeals, any decision that we made is made here can be appealed to the council. There are speaker cards. If you wish to speak on any item, you will have 5 minutes per side collectively and 3 minutes for additional rebuttal after both sides have gone. Feel free to leave once your issue is heard. We will now stand for the invocation led by Mr. Seeger and the pledge led by Mr. Arsamont.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for life itself and for the blessing of being residents of St. Tammany Parish to enjoy the flora and fauna from the piney hills to the marshes. We desire to make our little part of heaven on earth a better place by us being here and serving the public in a truthful and honest and upright manner, guided as always by your wisdom and knowledge. Thank you for the citizens, employees, elected and appointed officials of our parish. May your blessing rest upon them and this commission as we strive to do your will and serve the best interests of our community in a fair and honest way, walking uprightly all the way. God bless St. Tammany Parish, and God bless the United States of America. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have the approval of the May 13th minutes. Mr. Arsamont.
Move to accept the minutes as presented.
Commissioner Truxillo.
Second.
We have a second and a vote by we have a motion by Mr. Arsamont and a second by Mr. Truxillo. Please vote.
Motion to approve. Carries.
All righty. Any postponements?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if you noticed, the staff report for the street revocation, item number 4, staff is requesting to postpone the case. I don't know if the applicant is in the audience here. They're not here this evening. Okay, so we would like to request to postpone this revocation until next month since we have some items missing as the staff reports indicate.
All right, do I hear a motion? Mr. Truxillo.
I make a motion to postpone for a month, 30 days.
Mr. Chairman, could you please read the entire case in?
All right, go ahead, Ms. Arsamont.
Yes, item number 4, revision 2506002. The revocation of an unopened portion of 5th Street located north of 4th Street, south of 6th Street, between Square 26 and Square 28 in the Morgan subdivision as delineated on map 18D, Ward 9, District 14. Applicant is Cindy Garcia, Parish Council District Representative, Honorable Jimmy Strickland.
All right, Mr. Truxillo.
I make a motion to postpone for 30 days or 1 month.
Ms. Robert.
I'd like to second that motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Truxillo and a second by Ms. Robert. Please vote.
Motion to approve. Carries.
Is there some way we can see the...
Here we go. Got it up on the screen now. Staff, are there any more postponement requests?
Yes, we do.
You're running around.
Item number 9.
Yeah, there we go.
Item number 9.
Can you press your button, please?
Item number 9, 2025-4205 TP, which is the Bidico Creek subdivision. We have a request to postpone indefinitely. Mr. Paul Marone is here to address any questions you may have.
Mr. Marone?
Good evening, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the Commission. Paul Marone on behalf of Bidico Creek Preserve. As you'll recall, we had a community meeting regarding this request. There were a lot of issues and a lot of concerns that were raised at that meeting. A lot of things that we needed to look into, alternatives, drainage concerns, and all that's going to take well more than 30 days. So in order, so it doesn't appear on your agenda, so that the residents will have peace of mind that they don't have to keep watching for this coming back up each month and coming up here, we'd ask that it be tabled indefinitely so we have the time to look at all of this before we come back and present anything to you.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get it read into the record. Mr. Arsamont?
Yes, item number 9, request to postpone 2025-4205-TP, Bidico Creek subdivision, parcel 1, developer owner Bidico Creek Preserve LLC, engineer surveyor Kelly McHugh and Associates Incorporated, Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable Kathy Seaton. General location, the property is located on the northwest side of LA Highway 1085, south of Interstate 12, Madisonville, Louisiana, Ward 1, District 4. Also note, postponed at the May 13, 2025 Planning Commission meeting.
Commissioner Truxillo?
Paul?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, sir? First, I want to thank you for coming to the community meeting and listening to all those people in the neighborhood and respecting their wishes to postpone this indefinitely.
Yes, sir.
And so I'll make a motion to approve.
Mr. Seeger?
Second that motion.
This is a motion to postpone?
Yes. We have a motion by Commissioner Truxillo and a second by Mrs. Seeger. Commissioner Arsamont has a comment.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment. Just what you said, fellow Commissioner Paul, outstanding opportunity for us to all get together on that, and I just say that very commend you for that, and thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Please vote. No further comments? Please vote.
Motion to postpone for indefinitely carries.
Any other postponement requests?
We would like to request to bring up item number 13 on the agenda ahead.
To number 1?
Yes.
All right,
Number
the
13.
staff requests move item number 13 up. Hearing no objections. Mr. Arsamont, can you read it into the record? We'll move it up to number 1 and address it first.
Yes, item 13, new business amendments of the Code of Ordinances, Part 2, Unified Development Code, chapters 100 through 900.
Staff.
Hello.
Oh, here we try it again. All right, there we go.
All right, there we go. Hi, everyone. I'm Kara Bartholomew. I am the planning director for the city of Mandeville. So I am here because Ross is busy with another meeting he has tonight. The city of Mandeville recently went through the same process as St. Tammany Parish with the FEMA CAV, which is a community assistance visit. FEMA does this in order to ensure that the communities that are participating in the National Flood Insurance Program are actively upholding their regulations, and they come in and basically audit you. So part of this audit that the parish recently had, one of the things that was flagged is that the flood prevention ordinance needed to be updated. So what you see in this ordinance is essentially FEMA's template of what they want to see in your ordinance in order to be compliant with them. Much of this is standard language, and this language specifically has been approved by FEMA. They have reviewed it, so any minor changes we can talk about, but for the most part, any major changes are not going to be able to be approved because this is pre-approved by FEMA, and this needs to be adopted in order to be in compliance with your CAF. I'm happy to answer any other questions that you have.
All righty, I have one speaker card that wishes to speak. That's going to be Matthew Allen.
Yeah, Matthew, on which agenda is this? I think I may have put down the wrong.
Number 13.
Number 13, the Code of Ordinances?
Yes, amendments.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, Matthew Allen, I'm representing North Shore River Watch. We're really concerned with floodplains and all in here. And we respectfully submitted some comments and proposed amendments earlier today. I'm sorry for the late timing. But basically, y'all are still using the 1999 FEMA studies. And most of the data was completed prior to 1989, when floppy disks were still prevalent. Outdated modeling, all that other stuff that goes into it. We have much better data now. The 2008 DFIR, which was preliminary, never accepted, redid the floodplains with extra, or more in-depth elevation data from LIDAR. Now, to continue to use these antiquated data from over 30 years ago is not doing our future any favors. And our recommendations, we're trying to incorporate best available data to assess our flood risk. It's changed over 30 years. Accurately representing the primary causes of flooding. It's the heavy rainfall we get. The cause of damage is inappropriate building in flood zones. These rivers flood. There's nothing you can do about it. Even the Army Corps said that a few years ago with their feasibility study. And we want to ensure our local regulations keep pace with the post-99 development patterns. So if y'all could look at that and possibly, I don't expect y'all to amend it today, but something I wanted to put in the record to go up to the Parish Council with. So thank you.
Staff, any comment to?
You like me to respond?
Yeah.
So we got this email earlier, and I'm going to summarize it a little bit for you all. So basically, doing that creates some blurred lines between flood insurance and risk. These types of changes are often better suited with overlay districts for areas that are more susceptible than others, rather than applying them parish-wide. Modification to phasing with the flood damage prevention ordinance creates an unnecessary hardship with newer data, because newer data can be misconstrued as the best data. So that's why FEMA has they want you to use a consistent flood map and type.
Any more comments from the public on anything? All right, hearing none, I'm going to bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Truxillo.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody heard about FEMA 2.0 and all the different issues with that and everything, and causes everything to go up. But the parish needs to adopt a document that FEMA concurs with to make it easier for the residents to get assistance and everything. So I'll make a motion to approve.
Commissioner Robert.
I've sent notes, questions, a million things over to the poor staff over the weekend with questions. And yesterday, I have absolutely no issues with this. Thank you both so much for the time, effort, dedication that you've put into this and for entertaining me. I would like to second Commissioner Truxillo's motion.
Commissioner Martino.
Yeah, my remarks. So my remarks would be to your concerns, Matt, is FEMA has one of the best industry standards in this regard. It's used not only in our state, but across the Gulf Coast and other communities that are susceptible to rising waters, flood waters from rivers, dams, and others. So I think that this sets the precedent that we're abiding by their recommendations for our future land use, but also for many municipalities that and nonprofits that seek funding from FEMA. A lot of this is compliant based to ensure that we're checking those boxes, that these regulations, this verbiage is updated across the board. So those are just my remarks. I understand there are a lot of different LiDAR and other old maps, but this is, in my opinion, probably the gold standard for when you're looking at susceptibility, but also the standards. So that's it.
Any more comments from the commission? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion to approve carries.
Staff, you got a comment? No? All right. All right. Moving on to item number 1 on our agenda. Mr. Archmont.
Item number 1, request to enter the Tammany Trace right-of-way associated with Maison du Village subdivision for the purpose of constructing a concrete sidewalk from the proposed recreation area to the Tammany Trace. Developer owner, Mid-South Developers LLC. Engineered surveyor, J.V. Burks and Associates. Parish Council District Representative Honorable Arthur Loughlin. General location, the property is located on the south side of the Tammany Trace, south of U.S. Highway 190 West, west of Silver Road, Ward 9, District 11. It was postponed at the May 13, 2025 Planning Commission meeting.
Before we go there, can we hear both of these at the same time? All right, we're going to go ahead and read the second one into the...
Also, number 2, request to enter the parish right-of-way associated with Maison du Village subdivision. Developer owner, Mid-South Developers LLC. Engineers survey, J.V. Burks and Associates. Parish Council District Representative Honorable Arthur Loughlin. General location, the property is located on the south side of Tammany Trace, south of U.S. Highway 190 West, west of Silver Road, Ward 9, District 11. Also postponed at the May 13, 2025 Planning Commission meeting.
All right, Mr. Oh, staff, sorry. Staff.
Yes, sir. I'll just take the first petition, the enter the trace right-of-way, and then discuss the second one. So the purpose of the enter the trace right-of-way is the petitioner is requesting to enter a specific portion of the Tammany Trace right-of-way for the purpose of constructing a concrete sidewalk from the proposed recreational area to the Tammany Trace associated with the Maison du Village PUD requirements. The second case that you read into the record regarding the enter the parish right-of-way associated with this development is in regards to installing utility lines and a proposed connection to the subdivision to the south associated with the Maison du Village subdivision. Staff has reviewed both these requests and has no objections to either at this time. Thank you.
Mr. Morrow.
Good evening, members of the commission. Paul Marone, again, this time on behalf of Mid-South Developers LLC and the Brelands. These two requests, of course, are related and apply to the Maison du Village subdivision. The first, as Mr. Reynolds noted in his comments, is approval to be able to enter the Tammany Trace for the purposes of constructing a concrete sidewalk for connectivity, for access to and from. I would also point out that there is some limited drainage work with that as well. That's reflected on the plans. It would be for us to do both of those improvements while we were in there. The second request is to access the right-of-way in Timber Ridge subdivision for the purpose of connecting a water line and for access. The water line connection there will certainly be part of the improvements from Maison du Village, but it will provide some benefit to the entire area by making that connection and looping that line. Again, it'll provide better pressure, also more redundancy, so it'll be a benefit to the area, not just for this development. We've reviewed all of the staff comments. We have no objection to any of them, so we would respectfully request for your approval of both requests, subject to the staff comments, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that the commissioners might have at the appropriate time. Thank you.
Is there anybody who would wish to speak against this? Have y'all filled out speaker cards?
Yes.
Okay. So, yes, ma'am. This is a different matter from, this is the same matter from item number 10. So do y'all want to speak on this item as well?
Yes, but we can combine it in the interest of time, we will just wait for 10.
You want to just wait for?
Yes, please.
All right, so seems like, do we want to move 10 up on the agenda and hear all three of them at the same time? Can we? That would be too complicated? No? No, don't do it, or no, it won't be complicated?
It'll be complicated.
Okay, so we're,
I didn't want to do it the fine. So actually, I think it needs to be separated.
Okay.
And I think if they have a comment for
the
each
10,
one of
that's what I
those, they need, or not make a comment and save it for 10 if they want to,
So
but not on that topic.
you have the right to make a comment on these two, and then we'll get back to 10 later.
Okay, if you don't mind, I'll speak.
Come on up. If we can get a separate card, I think that'd be the best way to do it as well.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Christine Narcisse, and I am a member of the Timber Ridge subdivision, and I'm here representing the majority of our neighbors here tonight, which I've been speaking to since 2023, when this first arose and came to our attention. The item that he mentioned regarding the cut-through from the proposed Maison du Village through Timber Ridge, this is what our neighbors have been talking about and what we've been discussing since we found out that they wanted to do a cut-through. And I'm going to read it in the interest of time. The request to create a cut-through road through Timber Ridge would significantly increase traffic volumes on the street that is already experiencing high traffic. It is a one-way street with one entrance. I mean, not a one-way street, two-way street with one entrance. Timber Ridge is situated next to a school and off Highway 433 with only one entrance. Introducing cut-through would likely worsen congestion and pose safety risk to residents and children. And that is our objection to the cut-through.
Yes, ma'am, understand. I think this, for that, I think that would be more germane to number 10, because this is just to enter the right-of-way to do utilities and to connect to the trace for recreation.
Okay.
But we did hear that, and we'll keep it in mind.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Does anybody want to speak further on these two specific issues? All right. We have a card up there, and Ms. Narcisse, if you can get that card right there and fill it out for this issue as well.
I live at 120 Timber Ridge Drive in Slidell, and I've been there since the inception of the neighborhood, okay? And I understand that the parish wants to cut the street through, not the builder, okay? We have a lot of traffic on Timber Ridge Drive already, okay? Now, unless you guys want to improve the streets, because there is a dip, and with more traffic, this low spot's going to become lower. Like getting here today, there was water from 117 all the way to 113, all the way across the road. Okay, that's the low spot in the neighborhood right there. Okay, now, I don't know if you guys are going to fix our road, but it's been like that since the inception. Now, if you guys want to put a through street, seems like you guys ought to be upgrading our street as well. That's all I got to say. But I'm really against the cut through. So.
Understandable. And once again, that's probably more germane to point number 10 on the agenda. These two are just for the access to the recreation and the trace, and for the utilities to enter the right-of-way of the road.
Just one more question. With this little park that y'all say you got to cut through sidewalks to get through, if y'all do something, are y'all going to make a cut through from Timber Ridge Drive so we can access the trace as well?
I have no idea. That's going to be up to the builder, and we can discuss that. He can address that in rebuttal time. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Just in terms of this discussion about the cutaway to the trace, how does that affect Silv Road? Because we're talking about Timber Ridge, but I'm understanding that the subdivision being proposed is also being bordered by Silv Road. So I want to know, where does the access to the trace come in? Because Silv Road sits between, at some point, the area that's proposed for development and the St. Tammany Trace.
Yes, ma'am, and Mr. Marone can address that in his rebuttal.
Okay. I can show you right here. Oh, okay.
We can just, okay,
It's highlighted.
all right. All righty. We're going into the rebuttal time. Mr. Marone.
Thank you. I'll reserve any comments on the concern about the cut-through, which we respect and understand until we get to the subdivision issue, and I certainly have some comments on that, and we're aware of the concerns. I have been aware of those concerns for some time. As it relates to the requests now to enter the right-of-way, again, that is just for the access, for the sidewalk, no vehicular access, and minor drainage, and then to connect to the water line in Timber Ridge is all we're looking to do on this request. But again, I'll be happy to address and talk more about the cut-through, our background with that, and how we feel about that when we get to the subdivision, preliminary subdivision request later in the meeting. But with regards to these items, we would request your approval. And of course, I would just say, I guess as a practical matter, if we get to the subdivision and the subdivision is not approved, even though we have perhaps the approval to enter the right-of-way, probably would be kind of moot for us at that point. So, but we ask for your approval this evening at this stage so that we can get to the other discussions later in the meeting. And thank you for your consideration.
All right, rebuttal from the other side if anybody else wants to speak. All righty, hearing none from the audience, we're going to go to Commissioner Robert.
I have gone through this thoroughly. We'll address the rest of the comments later. For now, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to approve both requests.
We have to do one at a time.
I'm sorry. I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to approve the first request to enter the Tammany Trace.
Mr. Seeger.
Second that.
Mr. Seeger seconds. Seeing no other comments from the commission, we have a first and a second. Please vote.
Motion to approve carries.
And moving on to item number 2, Ms. Robert.
I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to approve the second request to enter the parish right-of-way.
Mr. Seeger.
I'll also second this one.
And the queue is empty. If you can go ahead and place your votes.
Motion to approve carries.
Mr. Arsamont, item number 3, please.
Item number 3, request to enter the parish right-of-way of 3rd Street for the purpose of gaining a secondary access to the property. Developer owner, St. Timothy on the North Shore. Engineer surveyor, Kyle Associates, LLC. Parish Council District Representative, Honorable Pat Phillips. General location, the property is located east of Asbury Drive, south of Sharp Road, east of US Highway 190, Mandeville, Louisiana, Ward 4, District 5.
Staff.
Yes, sir. The request is to access a portion of 3rd Street, specifically to provide a secondary access to St. Timothy's. Staff has reviewed this request and has no objection at this time. Thank you, sir.
All right, is the petitioner speaking? Petitioner is not here. Does the commissioner, any commissioners want to speak?
Yes, over. If you have.
Commissioner Seeger.
I'll move to approve.
Commissioner Robert.
I'd like to second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Please cast your vote.
Motion to approve carries.
Item number 5.
Item number 5, minor subdivision. Item 5, 2025-4231 MSP, minor subdivision of 10.22 acres into partials A and B. Owners and representatives Ryan Hale and Justin Coward. Surveyor Land Surveying LLC. Parish Council District Representative Honorable Martha J. Casabon. General location of property is located on the south side of Ronald Reagan Highway, west of Steel Hollow Drive, Covington, S20 and 29, T6S, R10E, Ward 1, District 3.
Staff? You muted it, sorry.
The applicant is requesting to create 2 parcels from 10.22 acres. Each parcel A and B will be a minimum of 5.11 acres. The minor subdivision requires a public hearing due to parcel B is proposed to be accessed from a 30-foot access servitude and requiring approval from the Planning Commission, and the request shall be subject to items 1 and 2.
Is the petitioner here? Nobody wish to speak for or against? Bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Robert.
Yes, I've gone through this one. And we're only hearing it because of the 30-foot access servitude that runs against parcel A. I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to approve.
Got a motion by Commissioner Robert. Do I hear a second? Commissioner Seeger.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Please cast your votes.
Motion to approve carries.
Mr. Arsaman.
Item number 6, 2025-4247-MSP, minor subdivision of parcel 2 into parcels 2-1, 2-2, and 2-3. Owners and representatives Adrian J. Doucette, Surveyor J.V. Burks and Associates Incorporated, Parish Council District Representative Honorable Arthur Loughlin. And general location, the property is located on the south side of West Doucette Road, north of Dumas Road, Slidell, S41, T9S, R13E, Ward 9, District 11.
Staff.
The applicant is requesting to create 3 parcels from the existing parcel 2. The minor subdivision requires a public hearing due to proposed lot 2-1 does not meet the minimum lot width of 150 feet along a parish road and requiring a waiver from the Planning Commission. If you noticed on the survey, parcel lot 2-1 is 194 feet. However, it's, basically just touches a portion of Doucette Road. This is just the way Doucette Road is constructed at this time. And the request shall be subject to items 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
All right, is the petitioner here? Want to come speak? Tell us what you're trying to do. Go ahead.
Well. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to speak, it's just if you
Okay,
like.
yeah, thank you for allowing us to. Thank you, Helen. Yeah, we just want to get this approved. This is property my father-in-law has gifted us, so we just want to subdivide it for all the siblings.
This is family properties, and it just, like she said, just trying to, split it into 3 pieces to be able to have each party to have their parcel transferred officially and have the survey recorded.
Makes sense. Thank you. Anybody who wishes to speak against this? All right, hearing none, going back to the commission. Commissioner Robert.
I've looked at this one. The frontage on Doucette Road is roughly just shy of half of the property with, I don't have an issue with it. That's plenty of room for them to get in and out safely. I'd like to make a motion to approve with the waivers.
Commissioner Arsma.
I would like to second that with waivers.
All right, no further comments from the queue. Go ahead and cast your vote.
Motion to approve carries.
Number 7.
Item number 7, 2025-4248-MSP. Minor subdivision of parcel A1 and lot 6 of Prato's Ozone Industrial Park Phase 1 into parcel A1A and lot 6A of Prato's Ozone Industrial Park Phase 1. Owners are Ernest Preto, Maria Elise Preto, Joan Preto Doolittle, Kayla Isabel Preto, succession of Clay Carl Preto, Rosalind Filippo Preto, Golden Properties LLC. Lauren B. Golden, and representative is David S. Durbis, Surveyor Land Serving LLC. Parish Council District Representative Honorable Arthur Loughlin. General location, the property is located on the south side of North Lane and on the north side of South Lane, Mandeville S19, T7S, R12E, Ward 4, District 11. And excuse me if any of the names were pronounced wrong.
Staff.
The applicant is requesting to rearrange the existing Lot 6 of Prieto's Ozone Industrial Park Phase 1 and the existing parcel A1 being 5.67 in size. The minor subdivision requires public hearing due to, as you can see in Table 1, the subject property went through the subdivision process in 2022 and requesting approval from the Planning Commission. If you notice, basically, the request is to reduce the size of that original parcel to add a little portion to Lot 6A, which is going to become 1.28 acre parcel, and it should be subject to items 1 and 2.
There's a petitioner here who would like to speak. Anybody wish to speak for or against? Seeing none, going back to the commission. Commissioner Robert.
I don't have a problem with this. All of the lots still have frontage and access to South and North Lane. I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Commissioner Seeger.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion to approve carries.
Item number 8.
Item number 8, re-subdivision, 2025-4233-MRP, re-subdivision of parcels 22B-1A into parcels 22B-1A1 and 22B-1A2, Handsome Meadow Farms. Owner and representative Carol V. Camos. Surveyor is Low Engineers. Parish Council District Representative Honorable Martha J. Casabon. General location, parcel located on the northeast corner of Camus Lane, Covington, Louisiana, Ward 2, District 3.
Oh, sorry. Staff.
The applicant is requesting to create 2 parcels from the existing parcel 22B-1A. The minor subdivision requires public hearing due to, as stated in the restrictive covenants of the approved plat, no lot shall be further re-subdivided without approval from the Planning Commission. And also, as you can see in Table 1, it went through the process multiple times in 2016, 2019, 2020, and 2021, and the request shall be subject to items 1 and 2.
Anybody here speaking for? Come on up. No, not at all, not at all. All right, so anybody who wants to speak against? Seeing none, open it up to the commission. Commissioner Robert.
I had the pleasure of meeting Ms. Carroll a couple of years ago. I've actually been to this property. We assisted Ms. Carroll and her late husband with construction of a residence a few years ago in my full-time role prior to me being on the commission. I know that Ms. Carroll is donating some of this property. It's staying in family, is from what I understand. So I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Commissioner Arsman.
Quickly, second.
Thank you.
All right, seeing no other comments, we got a motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion to approve carries.
And item number 10.
And item number 10, final plat and construction plans approval, 10-2022-2903-PP. Maison du Village subdivision, developer owner Mid-South Developers LLC, engineer J.V. Burks and Associates Incorporated, Parish Council District Representative Honorable Arthur Loughlin. General location of property is located west of LA Highway 433, south of US Highway 190, Slidell, Louisiana, Ward 9, District 11. Again, postponed at the May 13, 2025 Planning Commission meeting.
Staff.
Yes, sir. Final plat and construction plans and the drainage impact study have been reviewed by this office, and an inspection was made of the site on May 22nd, 2025. I'm sorry, May 26, 2025. Final plat construction subdivision plan approval of this case shall be subject to the developer complying with all comments number 1 through 7, in addition to all informational items below, and no work order to be issued until all required items are satisfactorily completed and submitted. Be advised, per section 800 3.4F, action by the Planning and Zoning Commission, the Planning and Zoning Commissioners has the authority to approve final subdivision plat and construction plan submissions with modifications. The Planning and Engineering Departments have reviewed the proposed subdivision layout and offer the following recommendations, numbers 1 through 4, for the Commission's consideration to enhance safety, connectivity, and long-term community value for the future residents of the subdivisions. Additionally, a funded maintenance obligation in the amount of $10,000 will be required for this subdivision in accordance with St. Tammany Parish Code of Ordinances, and no mandatory developmental fees are required since a public hearing was held prior to January 1st, 2005. Thank you.
All righty, Mr. Morone.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman, members of the Commission. Paul Marone again on behalf of Mid-South Developers LLC and the Brelands. This request for what used to be preliminary subdivision approval is what you see on the plat is consistent with our PUD plan and is consistent with our zoning for the property. So the uses are pretty well determined, the lot numbers and so forth and lot sizes. We're here on the other issues, the drainage plans, the utilities and so forth. We have been tabled a number of times and we have worked diligently with staff. I want to just thank staff for their patience and their hard work in working with us to try to get to a point where both of them and us are comfortable that we've got plans that meet your ordinances and that are in good shape. And we believe that we're there this evening. With regards to the staff comments, if I could just walk through them with you briefly. General comment number 1, the staff is recommending that the area where we have some green space is to be preserved in a largely undisturbed state to maintain the site's natural character and ecological function. We have no objection to that recommendation and would be happy to comply with that. Item 2, the staff is recommending that we get an arborist, Louisiana registered landscape architect, and that we plant the 10-foot buffer that will be between us and Timber Ridge. We have no objection to that recommendation and we'll be happy to comply with that recommendation as well. I would point out that the reason for the servitude in that area is that there is an existing ditch that predates our development that actually kind of meanders along our property line with Timber Ridge. It's a little on our side, it's a little on their side, and presently it would be a little bit difficult for the parish to get to that ditch. This servitude will help that and will help with future maintenance. But to that, to the staff comment about plantings, we are fully prepared to do that if that should be part of your approval this evening. Number 3 is perhaps the item of most interest, and this was the issue that was raised by some of the residents on the prior request to enter the right-of-way. And this is the suggestion or recommendation that we make a vehicular connection from our subdivision into Timber Ridge. To give you a little background, it's been quite some time now, but we had a community meeting on this project. I don't remember so long now which one of the commissioners participated in that. But in that community meeting, the issue of this cut-through was discussed. And the residents of Timber Ridge, in fairness to them, were very clear that they did not want that connection. And so when we made our submittal, as a result of that, we had proposed to dedicate the strip, but not construct it. In other words, there would be a parish right-of-way there, but we were not going to build the road out. The staffs looked at it, and they lay out their rationale for believing that the connection should be made. I would just tell you that we will, we felt compelled to comply with what the residents in Timber Ridge had wanted. The staff makes a compelling argument about why the connection should be made. We will do either. If it is the will of the commission that the connection should be made, as staff has suggested, then we will make that connection. If it is the will of the commission that we dedicate it but not construct it so that there is not a roadway there, we will comply with that as well. But I wanted to give you that background. I wanted to let you know that we had heard those concerns, and that's why we had made the dedicated but unconstructed. But again, we certainly understand the rationale and appreciate the rationale of why the staff thinks there should be a connection, and we understand the concern from Timber Ridge. So we put that for your consideration this evening. Finally, item number 4, the staff has recommended that we relocate our access to Silv Road where we had originally had our access to Silv Road, and we have no objection to that. We understand why they made that recommendation, and we're happy to comply with that as well. The other comments, items 5, 6, and 7, we have looked at those comments, and we're willing and able to comply with those as well, and so we'll be glad to do so. So we respectfully request your approval this evening. I would point out one thing. The gentleman from Timber Ridge made the comment about us perhaps connecting Timber Ridge to the trace for them. We couldn't do that because at the back of Timber Ridge, there is between their lots and the trace, the sewer treatment utility site, which we don't have access to. But to the extent that we make the connection, even just with the water line, without the street, on the dedicated but unopened right-of-way, they would still have the ability to walk from Timber Ridge into our development and to access the trace through us. That would be available to them as a result of any approvals that we might have here this evening. So I know I'm out of time. Thank you for your consideration. I'll be happy to answer any questions at the appropriate time.
Anybody in the audience? I have 3 cards. The same 3 that spoke before. We're going to start with Ms. Robin. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity to speak. I represent my family on Silver Road. We are 3rd and 4th generation property owners on Silver Road. The majority of the land from Thompson Road all the way through to the curve going up to the railroad tracks is family owned. Again, 3rd and 4th generation. Some concerns. One, leading with item number 4, the relocating the access to Silv Road. As you know, Silv Road is a narrow strip. And what we have experienced, even with the school having been built there and with people using Silv Road as a cut through between Thompson Road and back to Highway 90, is that we experience a lot of trash and dumping. And family members are having to get out and clean the ditches and whatnot. And so there is some concern that the increased traffic volume would also compromise the environment and the integrity and the sanity of Silv Road. If you've been on Silv Road, you know it is idyllic, and we're proud of that. The other thing I want to talk about is looking at this concern for flooding, that as we're talking about a pristine ecosystem, we're also looking at the awareness of Silv Road. We do not flood on Silv Road. And so this concern of a development and changing the landscape, the natural landscape with pavement will also then raise concerns about flooding because we don't have those natural resources that absorb rainwater. The other thing is looking at a development of this size and having to cut down aspects of what we call the woods. There is concern about the increase in utility costs because you are taking away the canopy, the tree canopy that actually absorbs the temperatures, that allows those of us who are in the area to have a much lower energy cost because of the tree canopy. So there's some concern about that. And then my last concern, which I think was addressed, was looking at that right-of-way for the access to Tammany Trace, just because, as I mentioned in my earlier comment, that Silver Road sits between the Tammany Trace as well as the proposed subdivision. So I just want to, on behalf of my family, state those concerns, and thank you for listening.
Thank you. Ms. Candace?
Good evening. My name is Candace Poland, and I live on Timber Ridge, and I'm here tonight to speak in strong opposition to the proposed development, the Maison de Village. This area is no stranger to flooding. In fact, my street was flooding as I left, where the gentleman was speaking about in the front of the street where it dips. My neighborhood has experienced multiple episodes of repetitive loss and severe repetitive loss due to flooding. That's exactly why Councilman Laughlin and Councilman Impastato created the Coastal Resilience Overlay to safeguard valuable areas like ours from compounding effects of overdevelopment. I want to be clear, I know this subdivision will be engineered with the best intentions. We've heard a lot about it. The developer's following the process and the staff is doing a great job. But at some point we have to ask whether we are stretching our parish capacity too thin in some areas. This area is congested. Like the lady who just spoke, Silva's very small, and it's a lot of people and things going on in this very small area. St. Tammany Parish is already struggling to maintain the infrastructure we have, our roads, our ditches, our drainage systems. Adding new subdivisions in sensitive, flood-prone areas like ours only makes that challenge worse. This development lost its original access to Thompson Road when the Department of Transportation denied it for safety reasons. Instead of reconsidering the project's scale or location, the developer now wants to redirect traffic through Silver Road, which we know is narrow. Even a new cut-through road through Timber Ridge, which is our quiet, established neighborhood, we love it. We love the in and out. We don't want any additional roads through it. That's not reasonable or responsible. I think we need to slow down, pause growth in areas that cannot handle any more stress. And we need to honor the intent of the Coastal Resilience Overlay and our residents. Please stand with us and deny this preliminary subdivision request. Thank you.
We have 34 seconds left. You will have 3 minutes of rebuttal and collective as well. Ms. Christine, would you like to speak?
Yes, I'm just going to add something that hasn't been mentioned tonight. I'm going to read it right quick, if possible, if you allow me.
Yes,
the
ma'am.
residents respectfully ask that the Maison de Village subdivision application be tabled until comprehensive drainage and traffic studies be conducted, not just for Maison de Village, but Timber Ridge also. Our drainage system is inadequate around the whole subdivision. It is different widths, different depths, and behind my house, I am losing property because it's been over dredged, and because undercurrent, I'm losing an average of about 6-8 inches a year. And I've addressed this with Councilman Laughlin. We need to have a comprehensive survey for Timber Ridge before anything is done, and a traffic study. And we ask that if you can, please drive through the area and look before you approve and see how it will actually affect people other than on paper. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, we're going to go into the rebuttal period. Ms. Morrow.
Thank you. Just a few comments. With regards to the drainage in the area, first, with regards to Miss Robin and Silver Road, we are not taking any of our water to Silver Road. In fact, we are going to be taking a little bit of the water from Silver Road off, putting it through our system, and then metering it out to areas by the trace. So we will not be putting any additional water on Silver Road. I would point out that our project site is all flood zone C. With regards to Timber Ridge, I would make two comments about drainage. First, there's about 20 acres of our site now that drains to Timber Ridge. We will be taking that water, collecting that water, and taking it away from Timber Ridge. So there should be a real, tangible benefit for the drainage in Timber Ridge. I'm not suggesting that we're going to fix all of their problems, but to take 20 acres that currently now, in its natural state, drains to Timber Ridge, we will take it, we will retain it, and we will move it to another and discharge it in another area. I think will be a benefit for them. So we hope that will work. I would also point out that the parish has already or is in the process of bidding out some drainage work behind Ozone Woods, which is just on the other side of Timber Ridge. That will help the overall area. Maybe there won't correct all of the internal issues with the pipe sizes in Timber Ridge, but there are some regional type improvements that the parish is already underway and taking on that should help some of the issues in Timber Ridge. With regards to Silv Road, we have been working with the parish through this whole matter. We have prepared and presented a design for some improvements to Silv Road. We will have impact fees that can go to Silv Road's widening. And so, we believe that a development of this size is adequate. Silv Road is adequate, and the traffic study suggested that it was as well. I would also point out that the parish has done or is in the process of doing improvements at Silv and Highway 190 that will widen the radius, which will make that turning in and out safer. I think that work may be done. If it's not done, I know that it is in the process of being done through my discussions with Councilman Laughlin. So we believe through much work that this project is ready to move forward. We don't respectfully believe there's any reason for tabling it at this stage. We can comply with the staff comments. We will comply with the staff comments. We are consistent with our zoning. We're not asking for anything more than our zoning doesn't already permit. And we'd respectfully request your approval this evening. Thank you very much.
We will go into the rebuttal phase from the people that are against. Mr. Guidry, would you like to speak again?
No, I already said what I needed to say.
All right. Ms. Christine?
One more thing I'd like to say. He mentioned,
Come on up to the mic.
he mentioned the drainage, the project that the Corps of Engineers is doing behind Ozone Woods. It is my understanding from the Corps that the drainage pipe that they're running to alleviate flooding in Timber Ridge, in Ozone Woods, it's going to dump in the Timber Ridge subdivision, which is right by my house, and that's where the Corps' obligations is going to stop. So my question is, how long is it going to take the parish to catch up and fix what's dumping from Ozone Woods into the drainage canal to run out to the trace to help alleviate flooding on us?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Ms. Candace?
To address his comments about the traffic being studied, I would implore any of you to please come drive down Silv Road if you can through, the school time or Thompson Road and see that it is definitely not, I cannot imagine one more subdivision. I couldn't imagine 5 more houses being built back there, the amount of traffic it would add, let alone an entire subdivision. If you would just see, it is very congested. That's all.
Thank you. We still have about 2 minutes left. Anybody else would like to speak against? Seeing none, going back to the commission. Commissioner Truxillo.
This is for staff. What's the reason for the connecting road?
Yes, sir. So multiple thought processes behind there, and I'll try to kind of list them all out to where hopefully you kind of follow the staff's recommendation or the staff's idea behind that. While I very much understand most residents in existing subdivisions are very much against any type of interconnectivity. You guys have heard it numerous times on being on this commission. Timber Ridge, when I believe it was recorded back in 1984, I have that date wrong, but it was around the 80s. They platted this existing right-of-way, which is denoted, I believe, as Cherry Ridge, if I got the name correct, for connection to the parcel to the north. So back in '84, they intended or reserved some rights to connect the existing parcel to the north. That being said, Timber Ridge also only has their one egress, which I understand that some like the localized, it's very secluded. It has one egress to and from the major state highway. The thought process behind this is, in the 80s, they reserved that right-of-way for connection to the north. We're trying to implement that right-of-way now, some years later. In doing so, we give not only this proposed development, but the Timber Ridge development, 2 other additional access points to and from their development, because they will also have the rights to go through this new development, like the new development would have the rights to go through theirs. This would give them a direct connection up to Highway 190 and a secondary access point out towards Thompson Road. So the goal there is to increase connectivity, but also allow additional ingress and egress points for both subdivisions, not just in favor of one or the other, in an effort to help spread out and mitigate some of that traffic. That is why that recommendation is made. Additionally, I'll kind of piggyback on their representative, Mr. Marone, stated is that a connection to and from Timber Ridge would be at the developer's expense in our recommendation, meaning the parish wouldn't spend any tax dollars to make this connection. He did mention reserving some right-of-way for connection in the future. If that was done, that means if and when a connection was ever proposed, the parish would have to do that with taxpayer dollars. This is an effort to have the developer make that connection, as they have agreed to numerous times, and they can correct me if I'm misspeaking on their behalf. Lastly, this would also create the ability, I believe a gentleman referenced it earlier, is, well, if they're going to get a connection to the trace, can we get a connection to the trace? Mr. Marone brought up the point that there is a physical block that would not allow an additional connection from Timber Ridge. However, we connect this road and infrastructure to Timber Ridge through the new proposed development. They would also then be able to access the proposed connection to the Tammany Trace, providing the residents of Timber Ridge a connection to the Tammany Trace amenity. Those were the reasons, the main thought process behind those interconnections. Now, at the end of the day, the commission does have an authority to agree, disagree, and no harm, no foul. You won't insult me one way or the other. But that is some of the reasons and justifications we were looking for. And there's additional ones referenced in the items in the staff report, in kind of going with the 2040 plans and some different plans that we're trying to promote interconnectivity, because one way's in, one way's out. As we've known, I believe you're familiar with Beatico Creek. The residents out there complain often about a one-way in and one-way out. We're trying efforts in these new developments to eliminate or correct those efforts of the past, so to speak. Additionally, in the last one, and I will stop talking, is in our new UDC, subdivisions of greater than 100 lots or units are required now 2 points of ingresses and egresses. Now, that is not subject to these, but in doing this additional connection, it would bring both of these into a more compliance of the new UDC. They would both have more than one ingress and egress through this method. Those are some of the main reasons, but ultimately it is the decision of the commission if you feel it is a good planning effort or a poor planning effort. And I hope I answered your question.
Yes, all those reasons are very valid reasons to request that. And I understand about ingress and egress and the safety of the residents, because if you have 2 ingress and egress, for any emergency happen, they can come in either way. I don't think that's a problem with requesting that. My other question is, the street that it's connecting to, I'm assuming it's a parish-owned street, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and one of the problems is that the street dips there. Could that subdivision call Public Works and they have someone come out there to look at that street?
Absolutely, and I've made a note of that too.
Okay, good, okay. Because if that's the issue with the street where it's dipping, call the parish, Public Works, I don't know what department it would be, but they actually come out there with an engineer to look at the street. And hold on, ma'am, okay? And that could alleviate that problem too. But the access, to me, is a quality of life thing, where getting in and out your neighborhood at different times of day and everything will ease that impact. For emergency units coming in for a house fire, or someone fell and broke a leg, or having a heart attack, it's easy to get in and out of those subdivisions. With that, and with all the things I heard, I'll make a motion to approve.
Commissioner Robert.
Okay, I'm going to be a jerk here for a second on DOT. I'm really frustrated with this. We have a 156.16 strip of property that fronts Highway 433. I would love to know what DOT's reasoning. They can say spacing requirements all day, but there's 656 feet between Silver Road and that parcel, which to me looks like the most ideal spot. Rather than trying to circumvent DOTD and funnel all this traffic onto Silv, why are we not pushing back and attempting to do something to consolidate all of the traffic in this area and work with DOT to get that 156.16 foot strip access for both subdivisions? I mean, what we're doing here is we're all complaining about the traffic, potential coming in and out of this subdivision with Lake Castle right here and an existing subdivision. But the only reason we're aggravated with it is because DOT said no. Is there no other option?
Ms. Robert, we share your frustration. And to answer your last question, we do not believe there's any other option. We push back on DOTD as hard as we could, and for years we pushed back on DOTD. The issue that we were told was spacing. It was that if our driveway came out to Thompson, there were two driveways across Thompson, and then the proximity to the existing Timber Ridge that caused them to shut us down, unfortunately.
But if the Timber Ridge connection was eventually shuttered in lieu of a new, larger connection in that place to maybe facilitate access for both, where it's safer, there's more room, has that been brought up to DOT to see if maybe the Timber Ridge entrance, if this were pre-constructed, this roadway, if that were done first, and then maybe Timber Ridge's entrance could be redone, closed off somehow? I don't know. I'm just trying to think, because everyone's issue is the same with this.
We did not propose that. We wouldn't have had the ability to close down Timber Ridge's entrance, but we didn't make that proposal.
At the time, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Maroon. I don't have an issue with the subdivision in and of itself. The layout looks very thoughtfully done. My issue is, like everyone else here said, and it's driving me crazy that now we're circumventing a DOTD decision by pumping more traffic onto Silver Road, a road that really cannot handle the capacity for not one, but two subdivisions. So DOTD is effectively making this a more dangerous situation. So I would make a motion. Well, I apologize. I'm not sure how my motion, I would postpone for a month to see if we could, now that this is coming to fruition, maybe talk to DOTD and see about consolidating the two entrances, if that's something that you guys would consider.
No, I think it's a question to the developers.
Yes,
if they
sorry.
could reach out back to DOTD. Come on.
I just think we have an opportunity to alleviate a lot of issues right here with this by reconfiguring the way that this is done. And I know that this subdivision has been kind of on the books for a very long, 20 years now.
Very noble to try to get done too.
Yeah, I'm hesitant because I'm just having a hard time getting my mind around how all that would work. I'm not sure how we would shut down that road. It's a parish road. I'm not sure how we would get everybody from Timber Ridge through Maison du Village. I mean, we would only have that one connection. I'm just not sure how we would make all that work, I guess, is my hesitation.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand what you're trying to get to, and in my mind, I wish it was kind of a blackboard. I could sort of erase it and redraw it.
I know, and I'm doing that in my head right now, but I know that that's not the same.
and that's what I keep saying. if we were starting where there was all a blank slate, it
Yeah.
would make a lot more sense. I just have a very hard time kind of figuring out how to get there from where we are today, I guess is my concern, Ms. Robert.
Okay. All right, well, I'm finished. I'm not going to make a motion then. Thank you.
1 second, we're going to go through the commission. Mr. Seeger.
For the residents and that have shown up, it's obvious that you love your area and that that's your piece of heaven on earth. Ms. Robin, I also commend you for picking up the trash on the road. That's instead of calling a parish or complaining about it, you do something about it. You're proactive. I hope that Mr. Morone explained that a substantial amount of land that now drains through your subdivision that you're concerned about flooding is going to be redirected. I've forgotten how many acres, but it was a substantial amount. I think that that's going to help alleviate the problem, along with the, our engineer said that there was some budget approval for the backside doing something. There was a question about the Corps of Engineers, but that sounds like the parish has something to do with it. While this is not perfect, I believe that this is going to actually improve your flooding. I also agree with my fellow commissioner. It's dangerous to only have one entranceway into anything, and it's not allowed anymore. It's anything over a certain number of houses has to have two entranceways. All of that being said, I'll second the motion that's been made to approve. He made a motion.
Yes. And just clarifying that it is subject to all the staff recommendations, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Ms. Arsimont.
My apologies. I was actually going to second. He already did.
Mr. Morone mentioned that some of the impact fees could possibly go into developing Sylv Road. Is that something we can earmark and make sure that it goes to Sylv Road? And because that road is, was that? Sorry. Oh, sorry. But yeah, just because looking at the road and knowing the area, that road cannot take much more further capacity. So hopefully we can, is that something we can do, staff? Or just make sure that it is up to capacity before building starts?
So that's a couple part question answer.
Yes.
I'm going to try to not make it difficult.
Good luck.
I don't mean to be.
I made it more difficult.
But as it relates to impact fees, there's certain areas and there's certain uses that defined road or drainage impact fees can be used for. There is an overarching ordinance proposal going forward right now to allow the use of the certain impact fees on parish roads, parish-wide, because whereas right now they are very much subject to what they're defined on the major roadway network list. There's a major roads list where they feel that these impact fees should be spent first because they serve majority of the public, right? That ordinance, they're trying to say, well, any local road serves the public, we would like to be able to use them. So in part one of my answer to you is, before any impact fees could be expended on Sylv, that road would need to be, that ordinance would need to be changed, or Sylv would need to be added to that list. Both of those options are going on right now, not for particular for any one development or one, but for every local road across St. Tammany that would meet a certain criteria, traffic volume, number of residents served, those type of things that say this is why these are good monies to be spent here.
Because it's essentially a one-lane road.
Yes, sir. Now,
and it's
aside from that, the other part, and I know the councilman in this area is very involved in this area as well.
Yes.
In not drainage or traffic impact fees, but rather roadway, I'm going to say this correctly, sales tax money or roadway money or budgeted monies can be put towards a project in this area.
Yes.
That has gone, and there's a multitude of different funding mechanisms for that, whether they be sales tax or drainage ad valorem or a variety of different ways. So
yes, sir.
The more appropriate ask at this time is, can the councilman budget a project in this area to improve Sylv Road? And that's something they're working on right now in its budget time right now. So he would have to slot that with Public Works and the Department of Engineering to say, hey, in 2026, 2027, I really want to look at improving this road to some degree, whether it be drainage,
Right.
an overlay, widening. That's where those discussions would take place. So
'Cause you're looking
to
at-
outright say we can say earmark these for this one is not an appropriate ask or ability
Gotcha.
of the parish at this time.
Tenfold.
I'll say they are making efforts to where we could use impact fees on any local road that is subject to a set of criteria. But at this time, as it relates to if you said, hey, we need an improvement today, that would be done through the engineering projects and budget method that is done every year with the council and Public Works and the Department of Engineering.
And on the flip side of that, just to give some ray of sunshine of that, the development that is going to go on is retention and detention of water that's coming into this property, so it's going to help there. Also, you guys are facing the school traffic already on Silver Road. Having a back way out that's connected may not be a bad thing. I'm just trying to Pollyanna a little bit. Yes, ma'am.
It's a bad thing for Timber Ridge. You're talking about increasing the traffic flow through Timber Ridge, where the school will now be redirecting traffic. People will be trying to find a different way out through Timber Ridge. That's way less safe for us. We don't have sidewalks or anything.
Yes, ma'am.
To play. So you're talking about what was a small in and out subdivision is now going to be a major thoroughway for the school and a major development.
Understandable.
That's terrible for us.
Understandable. With that said, we have a motion and a second.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
I have another question.
All right, go ahead and request to speak, please. Go ahead and request to speak, please, so I can light you up.
Sorry,
You're good.
it didn't light up. Mr. Marone, since this impact fee is not yet passed by the parish, are there any chances that the developer would agree to improve Sylvie Road drainage or width or anything?
Well, we would certainly agree and urge that our impact fees be used on Silver Road. We had contacted Councilman Laughlin about putting Silver Road on the list that it needed to be so that impact fees could be used for that purpose. And my understanding, I think, as Mr. Reynolds said, he's in the process of doing that. So we are in full support with improvements to Silver Road and for us being part of that solution. Again, we've already prepared a engineering design that could be used for that purpose, and we are fully supportive of our impact fees being used for that purpose. And we've made that known to Mr. Laughlin, Councilman Laughlin, and I know that he is supportive of that concept. Now, his ability to do that, I mean, I know he's limited in some respects as well, but I know he's very sensitive to the issue as well and would like to see those improvements made.
Thank you. I yield.
Mr. Martina.
All right, so my comments are from a scenario on the road that I live on. It is almost to all these definitions of you all who live on Silv or off of Silv describe as a very narrow, almost a one-lane road. That is my road. Few number of residents, we have less than 10. My road connects two major highways where there are many days, my two children, myself, my parents who are one of the residents, where I wish we could put a blockade and cut that road off because 90% of the traffic is through traffic. People who are just using as a shortcut to come from Abita to Covington to Goodby, to Waldheim. Vice versa, there are just as many or more days where I'm happy that it connects, water lines that break, a breakdown, a tree down, or an emergency. We've had all of these. So I'm sympathetic, believe me, every day. I sit on my front porch and I say, they don't live here, they don't live here. I see these cars and we make jokes about it. They don't even live here, right? So I sympathize with that, but we've said it many times. It's a safety. I do believe that with these other potential improvements with drainage and with a forthcoming traffic reassessment, seeing the potential increase of traffic that Sylv, with the low areas, but also potentially the width of the road, would warrant taxpayer money, potential money from the impact fee, and all of the above to kind of help alleviate what you're describing as it's unsafe for our children, or we're tired of seeing it overrun with water. The roadway, right? So there was a portion of the roadway underwater.
Just to be clear, public comment time is over.
These are just my comments. I'm sympathetic with both sides of the pros and the cons, but I do believe that the layout is something that staff has made very detailed recommendations that the developer is taking into consideration, and those are just my comments. Nothing further.
Commissioner Arseman.
I would like a call to vote, please.
We have a motion and a second. Please cast your vote.
Motion to approve carries.
All right, moving on to number 11.
Old business. Old business, number 11. Request to enter the parish right-of-way for the Centerpoint Boulevard, St. Tammany Advanced Campus, STAC, and Tamiad subdivision. Debtor is Weyerhaeuser Real Estate Development Company, resolution number 23-084. Parish Council District Representative Honor Arthur Laughlin. General location, the property is located on the east side of LA Highway 434 and north of Interstate 12, Lacombe, Louisiana, Ward 7, District 11. Note, developer is requesting an extension of 2 years to start construction and complete the work.
Petitioner.
Yes, sir. Honorable Commissioners, the above referenced resolution was adopted on August 8, 2023. The resolution states that the petitioner submit all documentation required within 1 year from the date of adoption. Additionally, petitioner has 2 years to complete all work on this project. If not completed within 2 years of approval, this work will be void and the petitioner will be required to reapply for permission. The following action is required by the Planning Commission to allow the petitioner to proceed with this project. Extend the adoption date to June 10th, 2025, thereby extending the 1 year submittal of documentation to June 10th, 2026, and the completion date to June 10th, 2027. The petitioner's engineer, Mr. Frank Zimmer, has requested an extension to submit the required documentation. See the attached email dated May 12th, 2025. The Department of Engineering Development has no objection to this extension. Thank you.
Mr. Shane.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening. Jeff Shane of the Jones Fussell Law Firm, P.O. Box 1810 in Covington, representing Weyerhaeuser, which is both the owner and developer of this parcel. The request is as simple as Mr. Reynolds has read to you. We respectfully request more time to make improvements in a public right-of-way where you've previously granted us permission to do so. We've met all the requirements. Quite frankly, our timing has been based on some economic conditions that weren't favorable. We didn't think it was prudent to move forward, but we do anticipate taking necessary steps to extend the road surface in the future. So we would appreciate the extension. If any of you have any questions, I will be glad to address them. Thank you, sir.
Anybody wish to speak for or against? Seeing none, bringing it back to the commission. Mr. Arseman.
Yeah, I would like to make a motion, and staff, am I making a motion to say grant the request to June 10th, 2026, or am I needing to do 2027? I just want to make sure I say it right.
You would be just making a motion to extend the adoption date, thereby extending the submittal date and completion date accordingly.
Okay, motion to approve. Motion to approve. As yes, as presented. Okay.
Ms. Martino.
I second the motion to approve the extension to that aforementioned date.
And with a motion and a second, please vote.
Motion to approve carries.
Item number 12, Mr. Archibald.
Item number 12, new business, request for a major amendment to the PUD for the Alexander Ridge Phase 4A.
Staff.
The developer of the Alexander Ridge Plan Unit Development has submitted a request for a major amendment to the PUD to revise their recreation plan. The proposed changes include the elimination of the exercise station and pavilion found within the northeastern corner of the pond area within Phase 4A in lieu of a construction of a pond fountain. Revision of the walking trail location and changing the amount of active green space from 1%, which is 1 acre, to 3%, which is 4.5 acres. The reason for this request is to provide walking trails connecting Alexander Ridge Phase 3B to Phase 4A, walking trails around the pond, walking trails around the perimeter of Phase 4A connecting all of the residents to all the green space and park space. And finally, the addition of an active nature park. Right now, the rec plan just provides one active nature park, and this would provide an additional active nature park to the north of lots 3E and 4E, which includes smaller walking paths throughout for general walking and connection to the existing walking trails. Staff doesn't have any objection to the active nature park because it provides walking trails, natural grass paths, but we do want to say there is a requirement for a 50-foot no-cut buffer from the top of Little Bogafalaya River, and the walking trails, we ask that they stay out of that required buffer area. Additionally, we have no objection to the elimination of the standalone exercise station in lieu of the expansion of the originally approved walking trails. We do object to the removal of the originally approved pavilion. In fact, we suggest multiple pavilions rather than the elimination of the one pavilion, especially as it relates to the additional walking trails.
Mr. Moreau.
Thank you, Mr. Narcisse, members of the commission. Paul Marone on behalf of Military Road Development LLC and Savannah Community LLC, the developer of Alexander Ridge Phase 4A. As your staff report notes, and as Ms. Cook just explained, we're asking to amend the recreation plan. Those of you that were on the commission when this project went through, really was a unique project. And if any of you have had the opportunity to go out and see this project on the ground and what it looks like today, it's really phenomenal in my view. Oftentimes you have something on paper and it doesn't always live up to it once you see it on the ground, or maybe it does live up to it, but this really exceeds it. When we first came through, the large amount of green space out there along the river and outside of the developed area was to be dedicated or donated as a conservation easement. Well, we didn't know who would have that easement, and we didn't really know what we could do with that easement. Through the passage of time, Mr. Allen and his organization became the owner of the property, and we have been able, Mr. Lapicolo, the developer, has been able to work with Mr. Allen to create these walking paths. There's about 5,500 linear feet of walking paths out there, and they are beautiful. Large live oaks, groves of them, large magnolia trees. There is probably no place in St. Tammany that I can think of that you can get on foot to the Little Bogafalaya River in a setting like this. It is really quite beautiful and quite breathtaking. All of that being said, when the residents began moving into Alexander Ridge Phase 4, they of course loved the walking paths. They loved what was out there. What they didn't want was anything that was obstructing their view of the lake, which is behind their homes. They requested that the pavilion be removed, that the exercise stations be removed, because they didn't think they would need them because of the walking trails. And that has given rise to the request this evening. I think at the end of the day, you have a better product. It's a product that the residents are telling us they want. I think Mr. Lapicolo believes it's a better project. I think Mr. Allen, who I know will speak, is quite happy with the way things have worked out. So we would ask for your consideration. We have included in the packet this evening a letter from the Board of the Homeowners Association echoing the request. Mr. Allen has submitted a letter that is in the packet. He will speak on as well. But we believe that what we have here is something very, very unique, very, very special. And we would request that, that our revised plan be considered and approved. And we'll be happy to answer any questions, but I want to yield time to Mr. Allen. For the first time ever, I'd like to yield time to Mr. Allen.
Matthew Allen with North Shore River Watch. Thank you all for hearing me tonight. When this first came about, I think it was back around 2020, it went through zoning. And I looked at it, I'd never met Mr. Lopicola. I'd always been antagonistic with Mr. Marone here for years at that point. And I looked at it, I actually supported that because the development avoided the flood zones with it. I had no idea about them coming to me with an offer of donating the property and working with the residents. And that happened last year. And this is a unique development. And like Mr. Marone said, we have close to a mile of walking paths. There are also 3 portions that we're not going to put walking paths in just for the ecology of it. We're also in the process of removing invasive species. We're in contact with Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, Private Land Management. They've been out and referred to us. And we have environmental professionals in our membership that have been helping us with this. Our vision is for the walking paths for everybody outside of the hot sun in the middle of summer, which is where the equipment they wanted to put in would be. And we're also looking to make it an educational with signs and identification of native plants. And there's some rare species out there that we're quite proud of, and we're hoping to make this a keystone for the community at large. Thank you.
Mr. Ken, you want to speak? Give you a little bit more than 10 seconds.
Kenneth Lopicola, developer Alexander Ridge Phase 3 and 4. So we're proud of the amount of green space. I do work with close with my board. My board came to me when they saw the exercise station going in, and they're like, we like to walk on our roads, and we love the new paths that all through the woods in our park areas. All this stuff is completed. No hard equipment went in to create this. This was myself and crews of young guys cutting stuff out, removing it gingerly. No dozers went in to create any of this work. So this took probably from the beginning of this project. We just completed these park areas. Probably we're just completing them right now. We're mowing them. So, but no big trees came down. So we have tons of shade. The pine scene is so nice. Everybody's backyard, they just want to leave a nice, crisp, green yard. The only thing they want are a few benches around their pond as in Phase 3. So we're just kind of following suit, taking the HOA's lead, and that's why I'm back in front of y'all. This was a request they were asking me to make.
Awesome.
All right.
I don't see anybody against unless Mr. Hernandez is against. All right, coming back to the commission, Commissioner Robert.
You said there was a letter from the residents that was supposed to be included with the package from the HOA? My note here that I made, I said, while I actually agree with the staff's objection, the subdivision plat dedicates maintenance and ownership of the pond and green space to the HOA. HOA fees in the existing phases are over $1,000 a year. Are the fees enough to cover a pavilion should it ever get damaged, along with the green space? And we heard a couple months ago another builder had an issue with their pavilion in their subdivision, and the residents were begging for it to be torn down. So I actually was going to suggest like polywood benches along the walking trails. Thank you. Yeah, I was going to say, I wish we could hear from the residents, but it's right there.
Well, right, and it's all about the maintenance, because they have to they have already located the fountain that matches the Phase 3, so they already know what fountains they want to order.
Aw.
So this group,
That's awesome.
we're highly engaged on, you know.
Yeah, I wasn't on the commission when this was approved, but I actually read the Times-Picayune article last year when it came out about this subdivision, and I just fell in love with it, and I've actually sent it to more people than I can count as like a model for how they should do things. But anyway, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Truxillo.
Hey, Paul. I just have one question.
Yes, sir.
I understand the buildings, tall buildings, so you can see the lake, but the exercise station, what you got on there? Or whatever you call that, the gym?
So the exercise station would be at the rear of the lots along the lake. And that's where they didn't want to maintain it, and they didn't want it blocking the view.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Okay, it's not anything tall though, it's just like stretching exercise and stuff like that. That kind
believe
of
so.
station?
It was a piece of equipment that was going to have a tin shade over it.
I got it.
And they're like, we're not going to use it, we don't want to maintain it, we don't.
No problem. Thank you. I second.
Mr. Seeger.
I may have missed this. Do you have benches along the walking trail?
No.
5,280 feet is a mile. You have about a mile, and I know when you went through the application process that a lot of your residents there are elderly, and that did not interfere with the traffic flow during school times and things like that. As one who has read about elderly and trying to walk a mile, when you eliminate the pavilions, I'd just like to see some benches there.
They mentioned that already. They mentioned they were going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion, and they're both nodding their head in agreement that they are certainly willing to do that. I think intended to do that along that path.
Thank you.
To that degree, I was getting ready to put up some benches. Every time I design something, then my HOA says, no, will you match what we just picked out? Because they do spend a lot of time picking their product out. So I agreed with the HOA that their benches will match what it is in Phase 3 right now. And we would use that same brand and model, so everything was uniform.
Thank you.
We were planning on, in our park areas, having benches and having that accessibility.
In the front area, is there any shade near the front? I know in the back it's well shaded.
Right.
What about up in the front area?
Well, the only part that is not shaded is around the pond, because just like Phase 3 pond, it took us probably a year and a half to stabilize some of those edges. And then working with the HOA, then we planted trees, then we put our benches in. So every year, even in Phase 3, even last year, we were still doing ongoing yearly projects where I assist the HOA, and we continue adding trees and benches, year by year.
All right, Mr. Arsma.
Staff, my question is what is the reasoning for staff to say that they don't want the pavilions to go away? Other than obvious, is it for protection? I mean, what is the reasoning?
Just to utilize to have community spaces within the existing recreational opportunities and the proposed expanded walking trails.
So in saying that, you would have that stipulation, and that's going to be something you're asking for in a standard way. But if the residents and the commission and the developers all agree that here's another option and this could be just as good, we're okay doing that. I just was curious what the point was for saying I want to have that the staff wants to have.
A place for the community to gather and people utilizing the trails to rest. So I think the benches would be a good.
So my question for the commission and for the chair, do we need to, when we make that motion, do we need to stipulate they need to have benches? Because it's nowhere in writing. We're asking them and they're saying they'll do it, but what are we doing with that comment?
Do we want to amend the motion, Mr.?
I've been to that development several times over the last 5 or 7 years. they're doing everything to make it. I don't think we need to stipulate it. They're gonna do it.
Okay, so in saying that, out of niceness, I definitely understand what you're saying, but I would like it to be stipulated and understood in writing, because what if something was to happen? So I do trust them, of course, but I want it somewhere that that's going to happen.
Before we get to Ms. Romero,
Mr.
go
Chairman.
Aaron.
Yeah, we are talking about a recreation plan that's identifiable with this subdivision. So if there's some kind of stipulation you want to add to the recreation plan, even if it's just a note on that plan, it can be added.
Yeah, and no disrespect to the developer.
Mm-hmm. Ms. Romero, would you like to?
I was going to say, I thought Mr. Lapicolo said that the residents, the HOA has already picked out and selected the benches to match the existing phase. Is that correct?
Yes.
So the money is already allocated for the benches. They've already selected what benches. We know how many.
Yeah. We have a very strong HOA. I participate quite a bit. I'll be making my contribution equal to what I was going to spend on the exercise to go to their fund. They'll probably be ordering all the equipment. I funded. They're well funded. We've had no issues of getting our projects done.
Would you like to make an amendment, or just keep it as it stands?
I'll keep it as it stands. It sounds like they have a very, very active.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I'm loud. Involved HOA. I'm not as concerned with this.
Gotcha. We got a motion and a second. Seeing no other comments, please vote.
Motion to approve carries.
Chairman? Can I ask for 1 minute of personal privilege, please?
Of course.
Thank you, sir. I just wanted to actually ask legal a question. I'm sorry to put you on the spot like this, but in discussion and hearing the case number 10 in regards to Maison du Village, there's a lot of back and forth about impact fees. Can they be used? Can't they be used? And going through the staff report, it made me realize we do have a typo in our staff report where it claims that no mandatory impact fee is required, and where it should say mandatory impact fee is required. So I'm trying to ask legal, what is the best mechanism to get this staff report corrected? Because there was not a hearing done before 1105. We just verified that again with staff tonight. It was October 2005 that a hearing was done for the PUD of this development. So impact fees are required, which was brought up today. The agreement to use those impact fees are required. So I just don't want to have a document floating around that contradicts what the actual facts are. So is it just amending this and adopting it with the minutes next time? Or is there a better process to get this cleaned up before the commission leaves and we have some kind of disagreement on the staff report?
They can do like a reconsideration of a vote and actually put it in there with the vote.
Okay.
Clarify and amend the staff comments.
Okay. And I hate to keep all here, and I apologize. That's my fault on the staff report. We had about 16 of these from postponements, and they got lost a little bit. So I do apologize for the typo.
Ms. Robert, you clear to clarify for us?
I would like to make a motion to amend calendar item number. Item number 10, 2022-2903-PP.
To reconsider that vote.
To reconsider that to.
Just reconsider the vote and bring it back up.
Yes, to correct an issue in the staff report, bring it back on the table for a new vote and amend.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Truxillo.
I second.
All in favor, please vote.
We're voting on.
Bring it back up.
Thank you.
Oh.
Motion to approve carries.
Senor Arsaman.
Oh, I'm sorry, she has to make the next motion. I apologize, I don't know what I'm asking.
No, you were up.
No, I didn't mean to. No.
Okay, well, never mind. Mr. Truxillo.
Okay, Ted, how we gonna word it? I make a motion to to approve the changes of the impact fee. There is an impact fee, and what was the other thing?
That was it. That does it for me. We just need to amend the staff report to show that it does require impact fees, but everything else in the staff report is correct.
For number 10.
There was a typo in the staff report. Where they opened it to read that.
Robert.
No, we are, sorry, Mr. Seeger I was trying to clarify.
No, you're good. You're okay.
Tom, what has occurred, there was a typo in the staff report. Instead of is required, it says is not required. So we have reopened to reconsider item number 10.
So now what the motion needs to be,
The motion is
to be that we need to approve 10.
approve 10 with an amendment to correct the typo in the staff report.
That's what
Yes.
Mr. Truxillo did.
Thank you very much.
And I asked to speak so I could second Commissioner Truxillo.
There we go.
Sorry, I wanted to clarify for Tom first.
We have a vote. We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion to approve carries.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Thank you all very much. I appreciate that.
What?
Wait, a motion to adjourn. Okay.
Unless Ted wants another 20 minutes.